Okay, we're going to do another tutorial here. This is based on the Microsoft program, whether for your mail, whether it be Outlook 2007, Outlook Express, or Windows Mail that comes packaged with Vista currently right now. So anyway, I've got some documentation that will give you some information and also some links that will take you on to the GoDaddy website, who is responsible for our email and web service. So I'll send that along with the link to the information for this video. So we'll get started here, and I'll try to walk you through the best that I can. This is my email that's already set up. It might not give you a very good representation, because when you first start out to set up an email program, it'll kind of not start from this point. It'll start from a point that is basically a tutorial, and it'll ask you the information that we're going to go through right now. But this is going to give you some idea how it works, and the information is still the exact same. So let's start by going up here to the top, and we're going to be interested in the tools. So we're going to click on tools, and then we're going to scroll down and highlight the accounts feature here and click on accounts. And this is where we're going to add an account. Here's my current account that I have now, and we're going to go ahead and add an account, and that'll give us the tutorial that I spoke about earlier that you'll probably see. So let's click add here. Email account is what we're going to want. Don't have to worry about the other stuff. This is the name. You're going to want to put your name in here. This is where, pretty self-explanatory, they'll see your name whenever they get an email address, whoever that person or persons may be. So I'm going to use Joe here, since we used him in the other example. Click next. This is the email address. This needs to be correct. We need to make sure that this little symbol here is the @ symbol, and that is up on your number 2 at your keyboard. You can hit shift and number 2, and that'll give you that little @ symbol. But it needs to be Joe. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Joe Marshall at mvtech.us, and that needs to be correct. So that'll be R Miller at mvtech.us, or if it's John, it'll be J Barish at mvtech.us, and so forth. Whoever you are, you need to make sure that you put your correct email address in there. Next, not going to get into a lot of explanation here. Just going to tell you what information that you need to put in here to make it all work. You need to make sure that this is correct. POP3, that's the type of server that they use that houses our email and web services. So you want to make sure that POP3 is indeed highlighted. Incoming mail and outgoing email server names. This is part of the information that I'm sending you in the documentation. I'm going to just cut and paste, but if you feel more comfortable typing it in, make sure that you do so, and just make sure that it's correct, word for word, letter for letter. The periods and everything need to be correct on this for everything to work correctly. Anyway, get you up to the documentation. Our incoming mail server is this one here, and I've listed them here, so it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to right-click, copy, and paste in here. I'm going to highlight this, right-click, and paste. And then down here on the outgoing mail server, I'm going to go back to our documentation. I'm going to highlight the SMTP, right-click, copy, and come down here, right-click, paste. And now that this is all correct, you want to double check this again. If this is not correct, it will not work, so just make sure that this is correct. Outgoing server requires authentication. This needs to be checked. This is also a feature that not every company uses, but the company that we're currently using uses, so we're going to make sure that that's correct. Next, type your name and password. Okay, J Marshall. We also need to include the @ symbol. That's shift and number 2 on your keyboard will give you that symbol. So J Marshall at mvtech.us, and that is the correct email address. So I'll move on to the password. We made his password Joe123, or whatever your password is. You need to make sure that that's correct. Make sure that you have this checked. Remember password. You do not want to have to go back in and put your username and password in every time you check your email. So make that checked. It's a good feature to have. Next. Okay, it says here that we have successfully entered all information. Great. Now it says to save the settings and download your email, click finished. Do not check this. We want to check to make sure that it works. When you click finished, if you get an error message, it has not been set up correctly. So when you click finished, you should come right to the screen for your email. And it checks all of the all the information. Looks like we're okay. The only other information we want to do now, and I'm going to start from the beginning here just to make sure that we know where we're at. We want to click on Tools again, and we want to click on Accounts. And now this is the account we just now created, this one right here. This is my old account that I already had, and this is the brand new account. Let's click on Properties here, and we want to click on the Advanced tab. Once you click on the Advanced tab, this will bring you to a point where you need to change some of this information. You want to make sure that this is set to 80. That's port 80. That's the port that they use. It doesn't always matter, but it should be set to 80. So I'm just going to leave it at that. This down here is another good feature. Leave a copy of messages on server. What this will allow you to do is have a copy of your messages on your server, so when you download them to your actual email over here or to your account, if you don't have this checked, it'll take it off the web server and you won't be able to look at it again if you check it on the internet, the web-based email. So I leave that checked, so if I'm out and don't have my PC with me or my laptop or whatever, I can go out and check my web mail through my phone or whatever I want to do. So anyway, I would check this, and I wouldn't set this up. Just keep your messages cleaned up after you're done reading them. If you don't have anything very important on there, if something you don't need to keep, just make sure you delete it. Once you delete it here, it'll also delete it off the web server as well. So those are the settings that you need to make sure, and they're under the Advanced tab. And basically that's it. Your email should work. We're going to go through one more quick and nice feature that you may want to do. There's a little professional touch on there. You can go into your options now. After your email is created and you're done and it's set up, you can go into options and you can go and find your signatures tab. And what this is this information here that I have is kind of nice because you can type this in and it's got your name and the name of the company and a phone number. Obviously your cell phone number is optional. You don't have to put that down if you don't want. Email address is kind of nice to put on there. And what this does is this information that you type in here will be at the very end of whatever email that you send to whoever you're sending it to. So it just gives a little information about you and like how to get a hold of you and some phone numbers and stuff like that. And I always click this up here, add signatures to all outgoing messages, because I'd rather have it checked and it always shows up. That way if I'm sending a message to somebody else that I don't really particularly want to send my signature to, I can just go on there automatically on the email and delete it if I'd like to. So I'd rather have that and delete it than have to add it if I need it. So anyway, just another feature. You don't have to do that, but it's kind of nice to do. And you just hit OK, and that'll take care of it. Anyway, we'll probably have some questions on that, but I just want to kind of show everybody how it worked there and maybe learn something in the process. Talk to you later.